Hi, Sans. Just wanted to give you a quick update on a couple things. We've had some concerns, so I wanted to address them as quickly as possible. First, the resident meeting will be next Wednesday at 1 o'clock here in I believe we're going to be in the Oasis Hall. You can check your calendars and you should have it on there. If not, feel free to stop by and ask us. We'll have it posted for you. And that'll give us more of an in-depth conversation about what's going on at the Sands, what our plans are for the off season, and what the vision is for Sands for the next year or so. So we do this twice a year, once in November, once in February, to try to catch all the residents that are down here visiting for a few months and so forth. So look forward to that. Booking sites early. Guest services has asked me if you're planning to return. Remember that if you don't get in to book your site and it shows availability, we have our main office that books. We have newer work campers and seasonal people that are booking. So Betty's not always at the desk, or even Regina's not always at the desk to know that you're going to be coming back next season. So if you have not booked your stay, and someone else has booked their stay in your site, our reservation system doesn't stop that from happening. I know there's a lot of you that have been here for years and years and years and booked your site for 1 or 2 months, and we have people coming in. They're staying 4, 5, 6 months sometimes, and they book that site. So remember to get in early. Make sure you book that site. Make sure you bring your 20% deposit. And then again, we'll be making an announcement on our new reservation system that will be coming in May on how that will work. What I really wanted to talk about today was the golf course. Been getting some mixed signals. Some people walk in here and say it's just fantastic and they enjoyed it so much. And then we get a few people that are very competitive and say that there's a lot of problems with the golf course. So I'm not here to make excuses. I do think we have a fantastic team out there and I think they work really hard. Now, I don't sit behind my desk all the time. I'm out on the golf course quite a bit with our team, and Paul and I and Tim is the golf course supervisor, do spend a lot of time talking about the issues that we do have, and we do have issues with our golf course. It is going to turn a little bit brown in certain places because of our watering system. It's $1 million fix, and that's not something that's being invested at this time, but it's not something that won't be invested in the future. But that's a pretty big investment, and it's a pretty big job that has to be done, and that's planning that has to be done. It can't be done overnight. Our system is very old, and so when we get a water main break, it's not easy to shut part of the golf course down and have the other golf part of it working. It just doesn't work that way. We literally have to drain it. We have to sit there for sometimes up to 2 days after digging holes and getting in them and repairing the pipe, and sometimes it's 2 inch, sometimes it's 4 inch. So there are a lot of issues that come with the golf course that's open year round. There was a lot of questions about the greens. When I hired Tim in September of this year, he made it very clear that he comes with 20 plus years of experience on the golf course, but that he was not going to take responsibility for the greens at this time. And the reason he didn't want to take responsibility is because when you start preparing for the following season, you should be preparing in May and June for the overseason that will take place in September and October. There's certain things you have to do with fertilizing, aerating, and so forth. Those are things that have to be done. Also, we've had a very problematic season with fungus that's been sprayed. It's been treated. And then our greens with the wind, especially the Santa Anas that dry everything out. We've had more Santa Anas this year than we've had in quite a few years in the past. And the Santa Ana winds that comes out of the northeast, those are very dry and they dry out the grass very quickly. No matter how much water you put on them, they'll dry them out very quickly. And we've had some of those this week, which did not help with our main break that was down for 2 days, not watering the course. So we used to have 5 people on the golf course, and if you look at most golf courses, the general rule is you have 2 bodies per hole. So if you have 18 holes, you have 36 bodies working the golf course. We have 9 holes. We have 3 people working the golf course. I am hiring another body for the golf course, so we'll have 4. We believe it's manageable with those 4, plus we can pull some maintenance staff off of the general areas if we need it for overseason seating time and those things. But I do want to see that you be patient with us. It's not being overlooked. It's being worked on. There's only so much in the budget that can be spent. And I know everybody else is an expert when it comes to golfing and what a golf course should look like. If I had the manpower and if I had the budget that some of these golf courses do have around the valley, I'm sure that we could be much more plush. But I do defend my team that they've worked very hard, and the golf course is in pretty good condition for as much use as it gets. And for a 9-hole golf course, we are really used. I can show you reservations on our system from 6 in the morning until about 4 in the afternoon. And some days it is booked solid. And there's some days that I have people on the tee box, fairway, and greens almost all day, depending on the type of weather that we have. So with that said, we did come up with a plan this week. We do have some weeds that are growing into the greens, which is not unusual in this area of the desert. This means if you drove to the east part of the desert, you might not get the same issues as if you're in the west part of the desert that we're in, and we're in the west-north part of the desert. We have a small weed that does grow on the greens. That's a problem. We do have to treat it, and then we have to let it grow so we can cut the tops off. We did have some concerns at where the placements of the pin were, and we worked with Paul, our pro shop attendant, and he's going to make sure that he does the placements of the pins in much better places with our maintenance staff. Also, we're going to grow the greens 1/16 of an inch taller so that the ball will stick better, knowing that we have a lot of sloping greens. We're also going to let the fairways grow another 1/16 of an inch and the rough grow another 1/4 of an inch so that it gets a little more plush out there. Some of the issues that we're having, there's so much traffic that it's getting matted down very easily. So we're going to give that a shot and see how it looks and grows in a little better in certain areas. We also have a small group of volunteers going to be working on some projects on the golf course, some pathways that we can't seem to grow in because of the clay and dirt and everything else that's in there. So I just wanted to reassure you that we're doing that. You'll also see a tree trimming truck on the golf course probably in the next month or so. Hole number 1 is not, the green is actually not growing because of the root system that comes off of the main tree, and for the sun is blocked half of the day on that green, and that's another reason the green's having a lot of trouble growing. So we're going to open that tree up and trim it down and trim the root system out from growing into the green, and hopefully that'll help make it better in the next season. We also have a few trees on the golf course. But I want to give kudos to my staff. They work hard every day. They understand your needs here at the community, and we understand that you pay to play, and we're going to do everything we can to accommodate you. But please don't raise your voice at my staff. If you have any concerns, I'll be the person to raise your voice at and yell at me about it. We started the top down here that I will take the blame for whatever you don't think is being done here, and I'll try to solve those issues for you. That's what a concern is about. And Sun's philosophy is that we will do everything we can to make you happy and say yes to you as long as it's reasonable. But yelling at my staff is not an option. That is not courtesy, and that is not something that we tolerate here at the Sands. We all treat you with respect, and we hope that you'll treat us with respect. So with that said, my office is always open, and I just want to get this out there as quick as possible because we have had some concerns here recently in the last 2 days that I just don't want to get out of control and with rumors and other things. We are in the process of fixing these concerns. So again, with that, my office is always open. Feel free to stop by. I'm in the office most every day of the week. Thanks, guys.